The first goal of any organization is to stay in existence. Non-governmental organizations, universities, government agencies, and businesses must stay viable to be effective. Business organizations in particular must continue to have sufficient revenue to pay employees and suppliers, maintain their infrastructure, pay investors, and make a profit. The buzzword of the next decade, indeed the 21st century, will be sustainability. According to business consultant Greg Andreotti, the triple bottom line of sustainability is composed of financial profitability, ecological integrity, and social equity. In short, sustainable organizations must care about the profits, the planet, and the people. The recent global economy has been a challenge to organizations and to individuals. We are facing what I call a reckoning, not just a recession, but a recalibration of a reckless lifestyle in which businesses, governments, and individuals have lived far beyond their means. People and institutions need to begin the process of rebuilding their lives into sustainable enterprises, less reckless, less leveraged, less disposable, and more sustainable than those of the past. The movement toward sustainability means organizations and individuals must strive for profitability, planetary health, social justice for people everywhere. Here are some elements of profitability to produce a sustainable business. Financial sustainability. Businesses and individuals must have short-term, mid-term, and long-term financial plans. In recent decades, businesses have received criticism for focusing only on short-term profits and failing to create strategies for a successful, sustainable, long-term strategy for making money and staying in business. Many businesses are short-sighted, thinking only of the current year or perhaps even the current quarter. Investment in research and development has dwindled, and too often employees are thought of as an expendable resource rather than as an integral part of a caring and sustainable organization. In the United States, over half of all small businesses fail within 4 years. 80% of new businesses are destined to fail. The numbers are similar in Latin America and around the world. Business and individuals must develop plans for short-term profitability and long-term growth. Manageable debt. While some individual or corporate debt is acceptable, even desirable, debt must be for a specific purpose, and plans for debt repayment are essential. For individuals, debt for large expenditures like automobiles or homes is reasonable, but amassing large debt, particularly credit card debt, is dangerous, self-perpetuating, and unsustainable. Businesses must borrow for major capital expenditures and even for inventory, but a repayment schedule must be realistic and ongoing. Listen wisely. Often, organizational leaders fail to capitalize on great ideas that can create innovation, profit, and sustainability. It is important to listen to customers, employees, consultants, and suppliers. No idea should be dismissed. Watchwords are openness, collaboration, synergy, and innovation. Organizations must be nimble and open to products, practices, and possibilities. If you are doing what you did 5 years ago, you need to listen to change agents and be open to new possibilities. Select real leaders. Leadership should be based on competence, intelligence, character, inspiration, and innovativeness. Sustainability is not well served when nepotism, tenure, or connection are the criteria for promotion to leadership positions. Real leaders recognize possibilities, create synergies, motivate followers, and supply energy that makes an organization nimble and sustainable. Create a learning organization. Make training and individual learning a part of your organization. Make time available for employees to attend classes. Well-trained employees are more productive, and the investment breeds loyalty. Create a business plan. According to the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, many small to medium-sized companies do not have a business plan, which puts their future into danger, a new report has stated. 55% of small to medium-sized companies in the United States and Britain have no business plan, and the numbers are even higher in Latin America. Even when a plan exists, it may be in the mind of the owner or top executives and not communicated to or implemented in the rest of the organization. Develop core competencies. Few organizations understand what business they're in. Businesses have core competencies, things they are good at doing or producing better than any other company. Focusing on core competencies creates a competitive advantage over rivals that may be doing business outside of their core competency. Some organizations lose focus and attempt to compete in areas where they have little expertise. Don't burn the furniture. Some companies and government agencies panic and sell core assets at deep discounts instead of making fundamental changes in their business and taking the longer view. Citizens do not profit when governments sell real estate, parks, or municipal services. Businesses should resist the temptation to sell equipment, close factories or offices, or lay off employees for short-term advantage. Only when bankruptcy or business failure looms should a company even consider destroying valuable assets for short-term gain. This also applies to human resources. The cost of retraining and lost experience is typically about 1.5 times an employee's annual salary. Turnover leads to more overtime pay for other employees, severance pay, lost productivity, the cost of a vacant position, the cost of recruitment, and lost customers. In education, losing the best teachers, scholars, and funded researchers threatens the mission of colleges. Turnover destroys continuity and creates a loss of institutional memory. Downsizing may work in an emergency, but it is a poor long-term solution. Good employees are not expendable or replaceable. Get tech savvy. In the intensely innovative new economy and the explosion of new communication technologies, organizations aspiring to become long-term must adopt new strategies. They must incorporate new technologies, survey the changing landscape of customers and clients, and adjust to a global economy. Organizations need new knowledge, acquisition strategies while embracing traditional practices that are working well. Institutionalize innovation. Innovative organizations survive during times of substantial change. Though lessons of the past are important to remember, change is happening so quickly that the past is of decreasing importance. In warfare, business, transportation, technology, and communication, more change has occurred in the last 100 years than in the prior 500,000 years. Remember a century ago when there were no automobiles, aircraft, nuclear weapons, rapid international travel, television, or internet, and change continues exponentially. Remember television news? Not watched by the past 2 generations. Remember the internet? Old news to the millennial generation. Go global. Even though some groups resist it, globalization is inevitable. People, products, contraband, money, and messages move across international borders, and there is no way to stop them. No country can control the communication of their people, despite heroic efforts to censor or eavesdrop or brainwash. The genie is out of the bottle, and electrons, money, and people will continue to move across borders without much regard for nations or politicians. Companies that understand global markets and competitors will thrive. Provincialism is fatal in a global economy. Embrace technology. Faster than we can learn about it, technology changes. If you don't understand social networking, viral marketing, Web 2.0, YouTube, Craigslist, Monster, and content uploads, you are not ready to compete in the new millennium. Social networking sites like Facebook and MySpace have millions of subscribers, and thousands of people are being added each day. Billions of messages are exchanged each day within these social networks, dwarfing conventional advertising messages. Many are viral messages recommending products, movies, candidates, religions, and entertainment. Any organization that doesn't attempt to understand and utilize these networks will be left in the dust. Global climate change is more than a hypothetical threat. We must promote ecological integrity. The Earth's climate has warmed, and excessive carbon released by humans is a major hazard. While global warming is the most widespread and universal threat, other environmental problems abound, affecting human health and longevity. Demand sustainable development. Countries, companies, and citizens must insist that economic development is sustainable. The World Commission on Environment and Development states sustainable development meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own need. Development must be sustainable. Limit greenhouse gases. Countries, companies, and citizens must reduce emissions of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases, such as methane, nitrous oxide, and fluorocarbons. Creating green buildings, using passive solar technology, using more efficient vehicles, and limiting automobile trips are great ways to save money and reduce carbon. Only international efforts by citizens everywhere can reduce the most central threat to the global environment. Use green energy. Energy from wind, solar, small hydro, geothermal, and passive solar sources saves money and conserves resources. Green energy can be produced locally or purchased from a local vendor. Businesses must commit to increasing the ratio of green energy they use. Utilize sustainable raw materials. Not all raw materials are created equal. Products that last longer are sustainable. Raw materials extracted in an ecologically sensitive manner from renewable resources are most sustainable. Dematerialization, a strategy of using fewer materials in products, creates less waste and requires fewer natural resources. Automatic shutoffs. Installing automatic shutoffs on water faucets and sprinklers saves money and conserves water. Likewise, turning down heat or air conditioning during off hours protects budgets and the environment. Motion detectors that turn on lights and turn them off when a room is unoccupied is good business and a power saver. Recycle waste. Most products that wind up in the garbage can be recycled, including plastic, aluminum, iron, glass, paper, and water. Some recyclables can be resold, reducing the cost of recycling. Gray water can be used for irrigation. LEED certification. New buildings should be built according to LEED standards, Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design. LEED certified high-performance buildings are economical to operate and boost the bottom line. LEED certified buildings are based on energy efficient, indoor environmental quality, safe material selection, sustainable site development, and water savings. LEED certification is based on a rating system for offices, schools, retail stores, and healthcare facilities. LEED buildings are less expensive to operate, increase the value of the property, lower water use and cost, and are healthier for occupants, emit fewer greenhouse gases, and show an owner's commitment to sustainability. LEED certification is available in Central and South America, as well as North America. Organizations like the Inter-American Development Bank and the Andean Development Corporation work to certify LEED buildings throughout the Americas. The third element of sustainability is social responsibility and equity. Organizations and individuals have a responsibility to collaborate, to share their wealth and expertise, and to create more sustainable communities. Across the globe, and within most countries, vast discrepancies exist in technology, wealth, education, health, and opportunity. Many of us live in an information-rich, high-tech, online society, but many of the world's people have no access to the internet. Indeed, many have still never made a phone call. The internet, in its vast repository of information and connectivity, must be made available to all people to level the playing field and to increase opportunity. Per the ITC mission of 25 years, sharing knowledge is the most important and urgent responsibility we now have as a globalized society in order to reduce the growing gap of productivity and socioeconomic well-being between nations and communities around the world. Education must be made available to every man and woman, regardless of race, region, class, gender, or age. Too many people across American and around the world do not have access to adequate health care, limiting their opportunity and decreasing their life expectancy. This is more than a matter of altruism. Uneducated, unemployed, unhealthy people threaten other people and make life more dangerous. People without a future have little to lose and can easily turn to crime, violence, terrorism, or smuggling to seek opportunities they do not have. In our post-industrial world, uneducated people have little chance to capitalize on opportunities available to many of us. Sick, unhealthy people with tuberculosis, HIV/AIDS, malaria, or swine flu threaten everyone's health. To conclude, in a world that is increasingly mobile and interconnected, there is no refuge from the fate of people everywhere. Remember, sustainable organizations are about profit, the planet, and the people. Our focus on short-term gain has endangered our businesses, our health, and our environment. We should pause during this reckoning and reorient our priorities.